All right, fam. It's time for some honesty. I use the analog stick. I know. Some of y'all just cringed. I think I heard an audible gasp back there. Yes, but I am an analog stick user. And just to clarify, I mean on the standard PS4 controller. So to give you a visual, this little guy right here, that's my ride or die. So yeah, I got the idea to do a video on this topic after I did a live stream the other day, and I don't even know how we got on this topic, but someone mentioned something, and I was like, oh yeah, actually I use the analog stick, and it was kind of like, what? Everyone was shocked, and I understand, like, I totally get it. It's a little unconventional, but I've been using the stick for years. Let me tell you, there's definitely been some pros and some cons to using this little device or this little mechanic, and I want to share it with you guys today, so just so you can get the ins and outs of like, what is it really like to use the analog stick. And this is not to toot my own horn, but I mean, since I've recently reached master, it's interesting how it has carried me so far. Like, I literally made it to master on stick. I don't know if it's how my brain worked. And to give you some context, before I dive into the pros and cons, you might be wondering, well, why did you choose that? And to be honest, it wasn't really like a deliberate choice. I didn't sit down and say, yep, I'm gonna be an analog stick user and show all of y'all. That's not how it happened. Literally, when I picked up Street Fighter 4 for the very first time, I was really learning how to play fighting games. And I had my last console was a GameCube, and I played a little bit of Smash on there. But when I got the Xbox controller, and I saw that you had to do quarter circles, my mind immediately said it makes sense to use the stick. Like, the D-pad was there. It was there, but I was like, I don't want to use this. I would much rather use the stick. It just seemed easier. So I started learning everything on the stick. And that's how we got there. And I never changed it. And I never had anyone to tell me like, hey, no, use the D-pad. D-pad is better. I didn't even think to look that up online. I mean, I was like 16 at the time. I just wanted to play. And it just became intuitive to use. And so now we are, fast forward all these years later, and here we are using the stick. When I actually found out this year, when I had a friend tell me, you should actually be using the D-pad. And I was like, oh, really? So anyways, that's how we're here. But I want to share with you guys some of the pros and the cons to using the analog stick. So these are my confessions of an analog stick user. Buckle in, y'all. You're in for a ride. So we're gonna start off with all the good stuff, all the goody, juicy things that I personally enjoy about using the analog stick, because it's not all bad, right? Am I right? So anyway, the first thing is that I feel like it's very easy to use. When I say easy to use, I mean, I literally just place my thumb on that stick and I'm able to just kind of glide around. Like, I just can glide forward, back. I feel like it's really good for neutral. Like, if you want to dance in neutral, kind of play that really good footsies game with somebody, you just, you just dancing. You're going back and forth all around without really having to think too much about it. Like, and that's what I love. I feel like I'm gliding across the screen. That is until I get a misinput. Then it's no longer a glide, but we'll talk about that later. Another pro for me is I mainly use a charge character. Chun-Li is a charge character. You have to constantly be charging her moves all the time. So as you're blocking, as you're doing whatever, you need to be charging that fireball, all that stuff. So I find it very easy just to kind of rest my thumb on that analog stick. Like, it's just really easy to hold back to charge. On a D-pad, I don't know. It's not as intuitive for me. I feel like charge characters work better on stick. I could be wrong. That could just be me. But even like with her stance is a quarter circle, but it's like a backwards quarter circle. I'm not describing it the best way, but even with her stance, it's like another quarter circle on top of the quarter circle. And to do all of that on D-pad just feels a little daunting. So I prefer the analog stick for that. I honestly feel like it makes the quarter circles a lot easier to execute. Now, I could be wrong. I mean, I have used the D-pad and it's the same motion. I get it. But honestly, I feel like I have to kind of think a little bit when using the D-pad of like, okay, make sure you're actually going into a quarter circle, because if not, you're not going to hit it, right? But I don't really have to think much with the analog stick because I know it's going to hit it. I know that like my quarter circle doesn't have to be perfect. As long as the controller registers that I'm kind of doing a quarter circle, boom. So it's like, just does it like intuitively. I don't really have to think, okay, make sure you're doing the full quarter circle. At least that's how my brain works. I also feel like if you have a character that relies on half circles or, you know, 360 motions, I mean, you're set with the stick. Like, you just, it's a gimme, it's a freebie. The next thing that I really like about it is comfortable. And I feel like it allows me to play the game for hours without really having to experience any physical pain. Now, yes, my thumb gets sore as a mother. It'd be sore after like 4 or 5 hours of playing. It's sore, it's got a little blister forming, but that's it. Like my wrists are okay, my fingers are fine. You know, I'm not sitting here experiencing any carpal tunnel, just a little blister. I can only imagine what my arcade stick people go through. Like, y'all gotta be, I know you guys are hurting after a couple hours. Leverless? Come on, y'all. Y'all the real MVPs, because there's no way I could be tipping and tapping for 5 hours just tapping away. But I mean, hey, and oh my gosh, my keyboard users too. Y'all the real ones. So honestly, after hours and hours of gameplay, I'm set. I'm straight. The other pro is that I've built my brain to be like this, and I'm not even kidding. When I tell you that it is intuitive, it is very intuitive for me to use the D-pad. For me to use the stick. I feel most comfortable there. I feel like I know what I'm doing. I don't have to think much about what's going on. I can actually focus on the mental battle of the game. You know, it makes sense to me, and I like that. That's a pro for me. You know, I feel like switching the D-pad now is kind of like, ugh, I have to go back and retrain my brain. So right now my brain is wired for analog stick. That's a pro. Let's get into the cons. And I know the cons, I probably ain't even gotta say it. Y'all already know, but I'm gonna go over it so we can just have a good visual, okay? The first con, and probably the biggest con that really, really grinds my gears, is misinputs. God, those misinputs are so bad. When you miss an input, it hurts your soul, especially when you're in the middle of a match and it's like crunch time and like your opponent you only have a slither of health, and like, you know that if you could like get your combo in and level 3 them, that would end the match, and you hit the level 3 when they're blocking, accidentally do a kick into a super, and you weren't trying to do that, and it costs you the round. That is irritating. So the misinputs are actually probably the biggest con, because the stick is so free. It's just so chaotic. Your inputs are going to be all over the place, and so you're not going to be as precise as you want. So there's been times where I'm just trying to like move, like I'm just trying to walk forward or walk back, and then it registers it as a quarter circle, and then I'm over here doing a super in the middle of the screen, and my opponent's probably like, you know. So it's honestly, that's crazy. Or just like, if you ever see me like jump randomly, you might be like, that was such a weird jump. And not like, why did you just jump? Well, that's because I'm trying to do like a spinning rear kick or something, and you know, you have to like hold down, you have to charge. Ooh. So yeah, like when I have a misinput, I literally think I should learn the D-pad. Like, that's when I'm like, dang, this is kind of sucky. But other than that, I mean, hey, I'm down. Misinputs are so bad, which leads me to my next point. Precision is pretty much non-existent. It's really hard to get precision. I won't say it's non-existent, but it's difficult. And there's always going to be a moment where you do something you were not intending to do. I should get a shirt that says, I didn't mean to do that, because the amount of times that I do stuff and I'm like, ooh, I didn't mean to do that. Like, you know, I might do a medium kick into a super, and if it confirms, it looks so cool, it looks so purposeful, and in my head I'm like, girl, I wasn't trying to do that. Or like, you know, accidentally hitting a lightning leg or something, or, you know, precision is not great. Sometimes my stuff comes out crazy, sometimes it doesn't even come out at all, and I'm like, wow, I was trying to level 2 you, but that didn't even hit. You know, so that might come back to bite me in the butt. as I get into like higher ranks, because I will say when you start hitting like high master, ultimate master, heck, even, I mean, at every level precision is important, but I feel like some of these higher ranked players, they are unforgiving, and you can't make a mistake. You can't make a single slip up or the round is gone. You know what I'm saying? Like you never catch these folks slipping, so you can't be slipping either. So that's a problem there. Dashing is near impossible. You cannot dash. I'm sorry. There is no dashing with the analog stick, okay? Like, you know, I could like maybe tap it forward or tap it back, but like I said, the inputs are so crazy to where you might get a dash, you might get a jump, you might get, I don't know what you might get, but to get a dash every single time, you will need the D-pad. I'm actually building the muscle to actually use the D-pad to do a raw drive rush. I cannot raw drive rush using the analog stick. It doesn't happen. But I can, if I need a raw drive rush, I will move my little thumb up to the D-pad and press those arrows so I can get a true dash. Otherwise, it's not happening. So just keep that in mind. Stick drift is the next problem. I'm gonna be honest with you though, if my stick starts drifting, I'm throwing it away. I'm throwing the whole controller away. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and stand here and watch this thing go haywire. If it drifts, we get a new one. We go on Amazon.com and we're ordering a new one. So, but I will say stick drift is inevitable just because that's the nature of using an analog stick. If you start using that thing every which way, every day, aggressively, it's not gonna last. It's just gonna happen at some point. My original PS4 controller, the one that came with the PlayStation, it's so shot, it's so jacked up. I remember one day I plugged it in, or I turned it on, and my character was just jumping. I didn't even touch the freaking controller, yo. Like, the controller, my hands were off, and my character was just plopping, just randomly jumping, and I'm like, what are you doing? So I had to retire it. It's actually still in my closet. I haven't thrown it away, but I can't use it because stick drift is bad. So if you are the type of person who doesn't want to constantly keep buying controllers, I would suggest don't use the stick because it's gonna go out at some point. And I don't know about PS4s, but I've heard PS5 controllers were experiencing a lot of stick drift. Maybe that was a launch thing, I don't know, but stick drift is inevitable. You want to say to caveat, and this match actually need to go back to the pro section. I know for a fact there are some pros who use analog stick. I looked it up. So I tried to look up, you know, who are the pro players that use analog stick. So I couldn't find like any extensive research on it. Not as unconventional as you may think. So according to the AI overview in Google, it says, yes, many players use analog sticks in fighting games, and while it's less common than using a D-pad, there are definitely pros and cons. Some players find analog sticks more comfortable, natural, or consistent for their specific inputs, while others prefer the perceived accuracy. See that word? Perceived accuracy of a D-pad for 2D fighters. Ultimately, the choice between an analog stick and a D-pad is a matter of personal preference and what works for the individual player. So, I mean, for me, it's analog stick. And just to give you even deeper dive, there are actually some pro players who use analog stick, and I'm gonna look that up right now. AI overview on Google. Notable professional fighting game players who use analog sticks include NuckleDu, Ending Walker, and Broski. Some players use the analog stick for specific inputs or characters, while others use it as their primary input for certain games. Some common reasons cited for using the analog stick include a preference for the feel, easier quarter circles, come on now, or specific characters like charged characters or grapplers. But ultimately, those are my pros and my cons of using the analog stick. And I would really love to open this up for discussion because my main question is, first of all, what team are you guys on? Team D-pad, team analog stick, arcade stick, or are you leverless? Or keyboard? I know people use keyboard. Like, which ones are you vibing with? Because ultimately, it is down to preference, in my personal opinion. What do y'all think about D-pad versus analog? Do you think I should just stick with it, or do you recommend like, hey girl, like no, maybe you should try D-pad if you want to up your gameplay? I'm curious to know. Let me know in the comments below. Would love to hear from you guys. But that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This is like my first discussion, community type discussion video, and I'm very excited to post this. I'll have more videos like this. If there's any other topics you want to hear about, please drop it in the chat. I'm really open to suggestions. I really want to start like a community driven type video. I've always loved those kind of videos, and I'm really excited to like start dabbling in that. But in the meantime, if you haven't, please take a moment to subscribe, like, comment, and hit that notification bell so that way you will know when I post and you won't miss a thing. If you want to support the channel on a monetary level, I have 2 tiers. Click the join link next to my username. Tiers will pop up with all the benefits that you can get. I will be posting some exclusive videos, not next week, but the week after. I'll be going live on this channel 3 times a week, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. We'll be doing a mix of Street Fighter and Fatal Fury. That's the newest game I'm learning. So a lot of exciting stuff to come. Stay tuned. I hope you guys have a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday and a wonderful time off with friends and family. I appreciate every single one of you, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.